y'all? Good morning. Y'all sleep good? Everybody sleep good? Boy, I didn't. Oh, another early morning. I had for the for the first time in I don't know how many years. I had a night full of nightmares for the first time. Oh man, it was bad. Oh, it was bad. I mean, I know I used to talk an awful lot about funky dream world, but this was funky, crazy nightmare world for me all night, dude. That's not a common thing for me, so I'm still kind of shaking the taste of funky nightmare world off of it. I've been up for about an hour now. Been up for about an hour. I woke poor Leah up, man, making all kinds of noise in my sleep. She woke me up. She woke me up shaking me. And I'm like, oh shit, sorry. I said, my bad. Tee. Ooh, I was having funky, crazy nightmare world, dude, all night. My head. God damn it, I'm trying to get this. Hang on, y'all. I'm trying to do two things at once right now. I'm trying to get this sage to work. Not the sage, this incense. The stick isn't shaped right, so it won't go in the burner right. So anyway, we all up to, man? What y'all got going on? There we go. There we go. Okay. Haven't burned this incense in a while. Gotta get them vibes going, man. You know how I am. What y'all up to, dude? Early bird for me, man. I've been up for about an hour or so now, so I'm in a pretty good headspace now. Yeah, I spent all night in weird, funky nightmare world. That is not fun, dude. That is not fun. Oops. I'm messing everything up. There we go. That's not fun. That hasn't happened to me since I was a little kid. When I was a little kid, I used to have nightmares all the time. I used to have nightmares all the time when I was a little kid. And that pretty much stopped. That pretty much, for the very most part, stopped many years ago. And I don't really experience that anymore like I used to. I'm just going to probably do what I normally do and blame it on like the energy shifting or something like that. I don't know. Anyway, we all up to. What's up, y'all? Night terrors? Yeah, maybe. That would make sense. I mean, I've heard that word before, night terrors, and that's the most accurate phrase to explain what I experienced last night. Let me tell you what it was. I mean, it's really hard for me to like really describe in full descriptive words everything that happens in my dreams. But the only thing that I can actually explain is that I was being like chased by like zombie grannies. Like these demonically possessed zombie grannies were chasing me, you know? And that sounds like, talking about it, it sounds stupid, but being in it, you know? And like it's in real life and you're right there and it's happening. Scary, dude. Oh, it was scary. I was like, ah. Oh, it was bad, man. Getting chased by zombie grannies, man. Yeah, right on time for Halloween too. Right on time for that. I wonder if that's something that my consciousness put together, and that's how it constructed that weird experience. I don't know. I wonder. I wonder. Low vibrational zombies, yes. I wouldn't really call them high vibrational. No, if they were high vibrational, it wasn't a very harmonious frequency. Let's just put it that way. I look at, when we talk about vibration and frequency, oh, it's so hard to talk about that subject without judgment, you know? Because everybody always judges high vibration and low vibration as good and bad. And it can get a lot more convoluted and complex than that, because I've met some very high vibrational people, very high vibrational, that I don't really say that you would depict them as bad, but just not as like good. It's hard to explain. If you, especially a lot of foreign entities to the planet, a lot of them, some of the star, a lot of the star seeds, guarantee you, a lot of star seeds on this planet, volunteers here carrying a frequency, are people that you wouldn't really typically associate as being good people. You know, a lot of them turn into drug addicts and alcoholics, criminals, and do not what we would consider to be good things because they, you know, are looking at the game, looking at the Earth game from the outside. It was, oh yeah, I'll go play that game, and then when you get in here, it's like, fuck this, I want out. I want out. How do I get out of here? Get me out of here, you know? But they're carrying that frequency, and it took a lot of work. It took a lot of work to get this third dimensional, fourth dimensional human game to be what it is. And if you take energies from outside this game and just plop it straight in here, it's not going to function properly. It's not going to, well, not properly, I hate, you know what I mean, but it's not going to function the way this whole game has been set up and designed to function. Not at all. That's another one of the problems with me, my kids. You know, I told you I got a problem child. That's just using 3D earthly terms, saying it's a problem child. It's not really a problem. It just doesn't fit in with this game that we've put together. Now, I don't want to say we, because I didn't take part in creating this game, but I came here to help change it, you know? Anyway, I'm diving way down a rabbit hole a little bit too early for this chat here. I wanted to work the energies up slowly, but yeah. Yep, let's make today good. Let's make today good, man. Let's make it good. I got 2 personal readings I gotta do when I get off of here. And then I want to knock out a bunch of the November work. Bunch of November readings. I like being ahead on that. I like being ahead on the next month. I prefer it. So anyway, y'all got anything interesting to talk about? You know me, I never come on here with anything planned to talk about. And I don't, well, I mean, I guess we could, but I'd kind of really rather not keep talking about my nightmares. It was so freaky, spooky, scary, crazy. Well, I just said I don't want to talk about it. Look, here I go. But it wasn't just like one little nightmare that you know, when I woke up. I was having them all night. I got up to pee a few times, like 2 or 3 times a night. I'll get up to pee. And I would wake up out of nightmare world, go pee, and then go lay back down, go back to sleep, and go right back into the nightmares. It was crazy. And that happened all night. All night. And then I finally woke Leah up, you know, night terror noise. And she woke me up shaking me. And I'm like, oh shit. It was wild, dude. I know we're heading into a different kind of existence. I know that for a fact. But what kind? That's what I don't know. But fuck yeah, we are. I already know. You know. Yep, we show is. It's just slow and gradual though. We all wish. Man, I just take it's my responsibility because I have an audience to guide people in, you know, the best way possible. But I mean, I'm right there with you. I wish we could just snap a finger and it all be done. I'm right there with you. Wish we could just snap a finger and it all be done. Can't do that. You know, well, I can't say there's one reason for anything that's going on right now, but one of the biggest reasons why it's taking so long, you know, one of the reasons why it's taking so long for us to switch everything over, all the motherfuckers are still asleep. Mm-hmm. Yep. All the motherfuckers are still asleep. It's got to the point now where it's just like comedy, you know? It was, I mean, to me, those of us who have been on an awakening path for years now, we've been frustrated throughout this whole thing. But in hindsight, you look back, and it was, honestly, now looking back, it was more understandable 2 years ago, 3 years ago, you know? But now, 2 years later, 2 years into the Great Awakening, and those people who are still asleep, it's just comedy. It's just comedy, you know what I mean? Because, like, literally, you're delusional. Like, they'll put it right in front of your face, you know? They'll put it right in front of your face. Like these people on the TV could like straight up say, "Hey, this is an apple," and they'd be like, "That's an apple." You know, like I'm not even exaggerating. That sounds far fetched. Some of these people, I'm not going to drop no key names, you know, but this right here is an apple. That is an apple. Like delusional. And it's just kind of comedy to sit back and watch, but that's what's slowing it down. That's what's slowing it down. Yep. Yep. And for those of you who follow me on my Telegram channel, I made a post. I don't remember exactly what I said verbatim, but it was something to the effect of the people who are putting on this show to try to wake people up. That's kind of like, you ever met people who try to hint to their kids that Santa Claus isn't real? You ever met parents that do that? Like, okay, I'm too afraid to like come straight out and tell them, so I want to hint until they finally get it. So they try to hint. They try to make hints, you know, that Santa Claus isn't real. And the kids, it never happens. It doesn't work. It does not work. It doesn't work until the parents come straight out and say, "Hey, look, I lied to you. I'm sorry." You know what I mean? Because that's what we're dealing with here. That's the kind of mentality that we're dealing with. And we've all been there. Well, most of us have. Not everybody has been through that. But that's the closest thing that I can compare it to, you know, is Santa Claus. I was one of those kids. I grew up believing that Santa Claus was real. Doesn't matter how illogical, how it makes no fucking sense whatsoever, you know. Doesn't matter. And there's nothing you could tell me when I was a little kid. Nothing that you could tell me to make me believe that Santa Claus wasn't real until my papa came to me and told me, you know, and then that was just like my world was shattered. Like I was heartbroken. I was heartbroken. My world was completely shattered. My cousins tried to tell me, the kids at school tried to tell me, and I fought to the bitter end, you know, defending this lie that I was told. And I didn't get it until they came straight out and told me. That's what we're dealing with. That's what we're dealing with. And maybe there's a reason for it. I'm going to go ahead and surrender, and I'm going to say, okay, well, it must be the way it has to be done then, because, you know, the consciousness and the powers that are doing this know a lot more than me. They know a lot more than me, so they must know that it has to be done this way, you know? So that is what's taking so damn long. Hang on just a second, y'all. I'm gonna turn my fan on. All right. So anywho, I love the smell of that incense. Man. Y'all, those of you, we got any Amazon junkies in here? Any Amazon junkies? Check this shit out. Go on Amazon. Oops, I'm holding it upside down. Om. The Om incense. You gotta try this. Try these. Go to Amazon, type in Om incense. Whew, man, it's very unlike any of the typical like sandalwood and all those, you know, the typical ones. It's very unlike. It'll fill the room up with a very interesting aroma. Anyway. Right. Well, you see though, that's the analogy that I'm using to refer to the we call them sleepers, people who are still asleep, you know. But now you all know that I'm very big on fact versus opinion. Okay, I'm very big on that. I will tell you what is my opinion and what is not my opinion. Well, this is my opinion. I'm going to tell you what my opinion is. Right now, what we're dealing with, there's a difference between being asleep and being closed-minded. Okay, there's a big difference. Okay? I feel like, personally, that we've already awakened all the people who were just asleep. You know? We've pretty much awakened all the people. Now, what we're waiting on is people who are closed-minded. Okay? And they will shamelessly tell you, la 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 la, don't want to hear it. Blah la 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 la, blah la 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 la, don't want to hear it. You know, they will tell you that very shamelessly and unapologetically that they are closed-minded and no new information that threatens their belief systems is allowed to make it in their brain. They will tell you that. You know, so that's what we're up against. That's what we're up against. And those who are handling all this must know something that I don't, because I don't feel like it's possible. We're at the point in the game now, like I said, this is an apple. That is an apple. You know, if you don't believe it, you're racist. You know, that's what we're up against. That's what we're up against. So, I don't feel like we're ever going to break through that wall. I don't feel like we're going to break through that wall unless somebody comes out and says, yo, ding that. Hey, look, you know, that I can't say too much. I'm already like getting way too flirtatious with it. You know what I mean? Already getting way too flirtatious with it. I mean, I know I talked about some of these things. I got like 200 of you, 199, 200 of you that follow me on Telegram. I would probably be much more open and expressive with my opinions if I had a bigger following on there. But go follow me on there, man, and I put little things up from time to time. But I'm not big on no, I'm not real big on doom and gloom. You know, I try to keep the doom and gloom to a bare minimum. You know, sometimes depending on the nature of the point that I'm trying to get across, but I'm not big on doom and gloom. Anyway, now this conversation is going to start sounding awkward because I don't want to say much more. But anyway, scratch that. Anyway, my Telegram is just my name. I'm so unfamiliar with the inner workings of Telegram. Every time I go try to search for somebody, I always forget how to search for them. Like, it's not as easy as YouTube where you can just go to a search bar and type in a name, is it? I don't think so. I do the best that I can to at least put one thing on there. But if you do go find my Telegram channel and you scroll all the way down, I put up some videos that basically explain where I am with it, where I got my information, which is not from, I didn't not get my information from people that sit around on the internet who do research. I didn't. I got my information from very interesting sources that are inside sources. Let's just put it that way. I will never drop any names, not anytime soon at least, but I don't think I will ever be name dropping. So you're never going to hear me drop any names, but it doesn't really matter. Another thing too is I don't get out there and push on the front lines because I think I'd be wasting time. I'd be wasting time on the front lines. There's so many people out there on the front lines, you know, doing the research and this and that, and I just really feel like I don't feel like I belong on the front lines. I would like to. I would love to. Like there was a few times where I seriously was thinking, all right, now how do I get on the front lines and start fighting this fight? And then there's just this force inside of me saying, you don't belong on the front lines. You don't belong on the front lines. You belong back here. You belong back here, where you teach people how to open their eyes. You teach people how to set their moral compass and how to awaken and sharpen their intuition and take their own power back and really start being able to play with their own energies and whatnot. And basically take control of your own frequency. And at that point, because if you get the truth thrown in your face and your moral compass is all fucked up, it may not be of any use to you. You know, there's no sense in hearing the truth if you're not really, truly, genuinely, spiritually, at least begun to spiritually awaken, you know? Spiritually awakening a spiritual awakening isn't something that has a finish line, you know? We all think that it does. We think that one of these days we're going to break through the finish line, and I've arrived, and it doesn't happen. It doesn't happen. Once you break through that finish, there is a finish line, but once you break through that finish line, you're like, what the fuck? That wasn't nothing. You still have 100 other mountains to climb, you know? So you never really stop spiritually awakening. It is a constant, never-ending evolutionary process. But whenever it gets to the point where you're able to actually take control. I am in control of my destiny. I'm in control of my life and of my frequency and whatnot. And that's, I think, I play a much better part assisting in that than I ever would up on the front lines, you know? For now. Unless I'm put in a position where the universe opens a doorway of opportunity and says, hey, you go through that door right now. And I'm kind of, unless I'm faced with that kind of situation, which is possible. I'm not saying that that could never happen. I'm not saying that that could never happen, but anyway. Anywho. Yeah. The other side. Well, it's just so complex, man. The way this whole Earth game is set up, it's very, I'm not going to say complicated. It's not complicated. It's actually very simple. It's just very complex, and there's a lot to it. Okay? There's a lot of fractaling that was done to get this, because this is duality, man. This is duality. That's what makes it so complex, is it's dualistic. The way everything in this whole fucking dimension was set up was dualistic. You know, it was dualistic. We're no time soon. It would have to be a very slow, gradual process to go all the way to one end of a spectrum. You know, to go all the way to the light. This is one of the things that I talk about a lot when, for example, and I'm going to start trailing off, y'all, so if I start losing you, I'm sorry. For example, people come to me sometimes. I haven't gotten this question in a while, but it used to be a very common question that I would get. People would come to me and ask me, why is it that every time things start going really, really good in my life, something comes along and just fucks everything up and completely demolishes, and everything gets wrecked and crashed and burned? Why? Because of the law of balance. Because of the law of balance. We are under the very erroneous impression that the goal in this life is to completely elude and evade the dark, you know, and to run straight towards the light. And one of these days, if we play our cards right, everything will be all light, no darkness, all positive and no negative. And that's pretty much the picture that we have painted in our minds that comes from generations and decades of brainwashing and programming, you know? And that's not the way it works. What happens is we do that, and it all has to do with the power of your perception. This is how powerful your perception is, okay? So you perceptually close out the dark, and you run straight from the dark. Okay, and you run straight towards the light. You're picking up some speed now. You are outrunning the dark, but not for long. And you run straight through the light, everything's going. Well, the law of balance, that negative has to come balance it back out. So if you go run straight towards the light, you outrun the dark, you run straight towards the light to where you're engulfed in nothing but positive. Boy, it's got to balance out somehow. Yes, it does. Man, that negative, that darkness you just outran, oh, trust me, it's coming like a tidal wave. Bro. So what we have to do is we have to pay very close attention to how we are perceiving darkness, and how much energy we're feeding into it. How much energy are you feeding the darkness? What's the word? So you don't want to stick your head in the sand and completely close out and shut out the darkness. Okay, but you know, I'm going to use the analogy of the dark wolf and the light wolf. You know, you don't want to feed the dark wolf, but you can't kill it either. You chain that bastard up over in the corner. I know you're there. I see you, but I'm not going to feed you. You don't get none of my food. I'm not going to come pet you. I'm not going to come over there and spend all my time with you. I know you're there. I'm going to feed my energy to the light wolf. Does that make sense? I know it's there. You can't deny and shut out the darkness. You can't. Not in this dimension. Not here, 3D, 4D, planet Earth. You can't shut it out and ignore it. It will be there. It will always be there. It has to be. It will always be there. There will be positive and negative that has to. Let me ask you this. How far up can you go before you completely escape what's down? Think about it. Where does up end and down begin? How far to the right can you go before there is no more left? How far to the left can you go before there is no more right? It's the same thing. The exact same thing. Positive and negative have to exist simultaneously, side by side at all times. And that is the basic foundation of how this entire dimension and this entire life is set up and run to operate. Okay? And we can't, if you want to experience this dimension, you're not going to be able to do away with that. It will not happen. You can't outsmart it. No, you can't. You can't outsmart it. You can't get away from it. You cannot. So I hope I explained that in a way that is easy to understand. I hope I did. Okay, no matter what you accomplish in life, no matter where you make it in life, no matter how great everything starts becoming in life, your perception is so powerful. But you do have to realize that in this life we are dealing with some immutable universal laws, and the law of balance is one of them. You are incredibly powerful, but if you want to experience this dimension, you're not exempt from some of the universal laws. If you want to be here. Not if you want to be here. Not here. Nope. Now there are a lot of made up, I can't say made up. There are a lot of laws that have been created by the minds of humans that you can be exempt from if you want to. You know, there are a lot of them that are illusions. This is what they really are. They're illusions that we create to be seemingly universal laws, but they're not. They're just illusions created by our perception. We can break those, we can break those. But there's some universal laws that we are not exempt from. The law of balance is one of them. That is one of them. That's a big one. I don't remember what in the hell point I was making with that right there, but hopefully somebody needed to hear that though. Cool, appreciate it. Appreciate the positive feedback. That's my goal, is for my analogies to be easy. Back in the day, when I was relatively new on my path, I had just taken the first little baby steps off onto my path. Before I even knew I was on a path. I used to explain things in a really, really, really complicated way, and I started noticing that all that does is push people away, because I could break some of this shit down and explain it in a way that's so complex that I started realizing, no, that's pushing people away. I'm not here. I'm like those spiritual people on the internet who start speaking in all these phrases and lingo that are really confusing and really complicated, and it makes you look so evolved and enlightened, and they're just doing that to make themselves look good. Honestly, if you're really trying to help people understand something, you will explain it in a way that can be understood, or you'll at least try. A big pet peeve of mine, spiritual public figures and people in the spiritual community who explain things in the most fluffy, ambiguous terminology that your average person hears them talking and it's like, what does that mean? How do I do that? Anywho, do I practice paganism? It depends on what you mean by that. I practice all kinds of things. I take little practices from here and little practices from there, and I'm always doing little energy practices. It's hard to explain. Paganism, do I say I am pagan? No. But do I do some things that are derived from paganism? Yeah, probably. I'll tell you what, that little block of time spent right before my YouTube channel popped off. When I was living up there in Maine, I lived in the forest basically for like a year and a half. And man, I was like, all right, I'm gonna try whatever. You name it, I've tried it. I just sat around and did so much research on all kinds of different practices and I don't even know what the word is that I'm looking for, and I've taken things from paganism, from Hinduism, from you name it. There isn't really a name though for what I do. Not really. Yeah, I know. That's a good, yeah. No, I wouldn't say that I practice paganism. Not really. No. I've used different symbolisms for different reasons and different meanings because, I mean, once you become like fully aware of how powerful your perception is and how powerfully creative you are, I think it's very, very limiting to put any kind of term behind what it is that you do. Unless there's some people out there that just like that feeling of belonging to something, you know? And I gave up on that years ago. I gave up on that years ago, that feeling of belonging to any kind of religion or whatever. I gave up on that. So you'll see me wear my pentacle. You'll see I have certain mantras that I'll say sometimes. You know, a little bit of mixture of everything just to see what works and what doesn't. I like crystals. Ah, here we go. Bam. Yeah. This was pretty, isn't it? This is the biggest piece of amethyst I've ever bought. There's this really badass crystal store called what's it called now? Jewelry and Minerals. We got any Vegas locals here watching right now in Vegas? That one downtown, it's by the Stratosphere. Something Jewelry and Minerals, I forget. But that place is like heaven, dude. Huge crystal store, and they're super cool, man. Super cool, and they always remember me. They always remember me every time I go in. How's your YouTube channel going, man? It's going good. But yeah, they got all kind. Man, they got them ones too. Amethyst pieces. They got a whole room with amethyst pieces that are like 6 feet tall. It's fucking badass, man. Yeah, I got some small ones too. Here's a little baby one. Here's a little baby one. But anyway. Oh. So what are y'all up to? I don't know how long I'm going to be on here. I just wanted to get a little chat in. Get a little chat in this morning. Like I said, for those of you just now tuning in, I spent pretty much all night in Nightmare Land. I spent pretty much all night in Nightmare Land, dude. It was scary. It was scary. And yeah, so I got, and I don't know, because, all right, I'm going to tell you right now, as soon as I set up my magician's table in here, it changed the energy of the room dramatically. And I didn't expect that. I didn't expect that. I really did not expect that. It was, the purpose behind me doing that was simply for one reason and one reason only, and that was to have props for the background of my videos, and that was it. That was it. I got my cup, my pentacle, my wand, and my sword. I got all this stuff behind me. As you all can see, the Magician's my favorite card. So I got all this stuff behind me for my videos, and it changed setting this up in here changed the energy of the room dramatically. And as far as things like this go, that maybe why there's some people, they see things in the background of my videos and they'll ask me questions, you know. And this is one of those types of things that I'm kind of waiting to be able to look back in hindsight and see. You know, there's a lot of things that I'll do, like I'll buy a certain crystal. Oh, well, what's that crystal do? I don't know yet. They'd be like, what do you mean you don't know yet? I mean, I don't know yet. I'm going to buy it and I'm going to wear it for maybe a month, and then I'm going to take it off. Then I'm going to look back and see in hindsight. That makes sense? That's kind of like what this is all about here. I'm going to put my stuff back up. All right. Oh, I'm sore. Anyway, though. Yeah, anyway, I don't know of anybody that can't get on Telegram. Why wouldn't you be able to? Anybody can. Just like YouTube, anybody can get on YouTube. If you have a Google account, you have a YouTube channel. If you, like any one of you, could put a video on YouTube. Yep, you sure can. Yep, I'm on there. I'm not one of those types of people like some of the other big truthers that post all day long, though. Like all day, every day, you know? No, not really. I'll post things that I find to be very, very helpful, things that, I think maybe you need to know. Sometimes I'll just get a wild hair up my ass and want to say something, and, can't say it on any of these platforms, so I'll put a video on there maybe sometimes. But anyway, yeah. Because people have been bugging me, dude. Bugging me and bugging me and bugging me and bugging me. What are your opinions on this? What are your opinions on that? What are your opinions on this? And this and that and that and this and this and that. And I'm like, all right, fuck. I got to figure out some kind of way to be able to at least express my take, express what I know, how I know what I know, and yeah, why I'm doing what I'm doing. Because it'll make my job here make more sense. It'll make it make more sense. What I'm doing here, this is one of those times where my purpose has become much more clear than it ever was, because I always knew that, and I'm going to use phrases that you hear tossed around very loosely, but I can't think of any other phrases or terms, so take them with a pinch of salt, okay? I've always known that I'm a light worker, and that I'm here to assist in the awakening. I've always known these things, but I've never really been able to tangibly prove it as much as I feel like I can now, And if you don't know where I'm coming from in my background and some of the things that I know and whatnot, then it wouldn't really make all that much sense as to how I'm accomplishing that, by doing what I do. So that's the reason why I went ahead and put my Telegram channel up, That's the reason why. I don't know what kind of eyes are still on me. I have been inadvertently and passively threatened, very inadvertently and passively threatened to keep my mouth shut. But I don't really know, so that's why I'm a little bit cautious about name dropping. But I mainly want, for those of you who are curious, it really doesn't matter what you know, honestly, as far as what I'm doing. But for those of you who are curious as to how does what you're doing tie in to what's going on, and how do they go together? You can't really connect the dots. That's why I have that up there. It makes sense. It will one day. If it doesn't make sense now, it will one day. But it really honestly doesn't matter. Doesn't really matter. Sometimes I think it might be a little bit easier if I never would have said anything. It might be a little bit easier on me, you know what I mean? Might be a little easier on me. Oh, anyway. Yeah, it's my same name if you want to find me on there. It's my same name. Now there's supposedly, again, I'm going to be very picky and choosy on my words here. There's another social platform coming out here, isn't there? I don't know anything about that though. I don't know anything about it. I don't even know where to go find it or anything about it. And the last that I heard, it hadn't fully launched. I don't know. Leah's products are on her website and on her Instagram. It's called Cheetah Crystals. Cheetah Crystals. I should have worn the shirt. I almost wore the shirt yesterday, but I decided to go ahead and put my Buddha shirt on. So, Cheetah Crystals. CheetahCrystals.com. And it's on Instagram. It's all one word, Cheetah Crystals. That's where all her products are. And there's some of the products there that I made too. I helped her make some of them. Some of the necklaces and stuff like that. Anyway, though. Yep, CheetahCrystals.com. Yeah. Yeah, Buddha. Yeah. Anyway, though. I might cut this one short. Might cut this chat short and get off here in a couple of minutes. I might cut it short. I needed help getting the rest of the way up out of my funky mentality of going through the nightmares all night. And y'all always help me do that. You know, there's not a day that goes by without me getting some kind of message from somebody either on Facebook or Instagram or an email, or sometimes it's just in the comment section where they say, you know, you've helped me out tremendously, helped me get through these dark times. Y'all help me too. This helps me too. This is a give and take thing. It's not all about me helping people. You know, it helps me in ways that is really hard to explain. You probably wouldn't really fully understand. You know, I get on here and I start to babbling, and sometimes things come out of my mouth that I never even really thought about. You know? Oh man, I never even thought about it that way. But that's mainly what I wanted to do this morning, to let y'all know I'm still alive and kicking. And the plan, like I said, is to be able to knock out a bunch of November stuff today on my main channel. My opinion on twin flames? Oh man, that's another complex one. Well, my opinion is that that's one of the most misconstrued connections or misconstrued topics, let's just put it that way, in the spiritual community. My opinion on twin flames is not very popular. It's not very popular. My opinion is that the connection actually serves a greater purpose after the twins separate, if that's what you want to call it, twin flame. That to me is just a name for a very specific kind of connection. Do I view it as one soul split into two bodies? No, because every last one of us come from one huge energy source, you know? No, I don't view it as one soul split into two bodies. But the connection has a very, very, very valuable meaning. Okay, when you come together with what you would call your twin flame, the two of you trigger each other. And what that does is it awakens things in you that nobody else on this planet is capable of triggering. Okay? When you first come into this life, from the get-go, from the minute you set foot on this planet, you are collecting and accumulating vibrational baggage and traumas, and it's like a big snowball. You're like a big energetic snowball that just collects and collects and collects all this energetic baggage. And if you are one of the people, among many other reasons, who are here assisting in the shifting and helping change the frequencies of the planet, and you've accumulated too much vibrational baggage, you and your twin, if that's what you want to call it, it's like a mirror image energy, trigger each other. And what that does when you come together, with this person, it triggers the release of old vibrational baggage that you didn't even know you had. It triggers it to bubble up to the surface. Aspects of you, vibrational baggage that you've had buried since you were a kid. Okay, and when you come together with this person, it will trigger it. It penetrates much, much deeper than anything we thought we knew about human romance. Has nothing to do with romance. Okay, a lot of times though, the other side will dress up some of the most important connections that we need to make as a romantic connection, because as humans, we think that that's the only thing that matters in this life. And because that's the way we think, a lot of times the other side will use a romantic connection to make a connection happen. Okay? Because that's how you get any human's attention. Okay? A human will ignore all the signs, all the synchronicities, all the synchronistic numbers, the coincidences, the synchronistic events, and just be headed off in the wrong direction. And we'll just wander straight into their death. But you want to get a human's attention? Send a lover. That will get a human's attention every fucking time. So that's the reason why it's very common for twin flame connections to be dressed up and disguised as a romantic coupling. When in actuality, that's not the reason for the connection at all. And then the two trigger each other. And I mean, they trigger each other. It's not uncommon at all for domestic violence to erupt between twin flames. I'm not condoning it. I'm not condoning it. No, I'm not saying domestic violence is okay. Absolutely not. But that doesn't change the fact that you hear about it a lot. That's how bad they trigger each other. They trigger each other very badly. And yeah, so anyway, whatever happens. Then the twins separate. Okay? They don't realize it, but they have awakened a new frequency in each other. They shed just whatever percentage of vibrational baggage they needed to shed to be able to awaken this new energy within them. And now your frequency is affecting everybody you come in contact with. And so is theirs. So the two of you come together, this interaction happens, you go that way, they go this way. Now you're carrying this new energy with you everywhere you go, and they are carrying this new energy with them everywhere they go. You can spread that energy far and wide after you separate. See what I'm saying? You dig what I'm saying? So whoever that was that asked what my opinion was, that's the best in a nutshell version of the connection that I can pull off the top of my head this morning. You know, but there isn't really a blanket that you can put over every single twin flame connection and whatnot. You can't really because they're all different. They're all very, very different. But there are like a couple of things that they all have in common. Okay, and one of those things is whoever this person is triggers something in you. And it doesn't have to be negative, you know, it doesn't have to be negative and be violent. I'm just saying, I was just saying that to paint the picture of this is how triggering it is. But it doesn't have to be negative at all. At all. Like I said, there's no blanket that covers every single, you know, one of them. They're all very, very different, very, very unique. Okay, there's nothing, no two things are done exactly the same. But does that paint the picture? You know, does that paint the picture? If you are an incredibly skilled energy worker, I imagine that it would be possible to have a romantic connection with your twin. You know, I would imagine, if you're very skilled at working with energy. The problem is, like I said, your average human on planet Earth today doesn't, I don't want to say they don't know. We've just been manipulated into using our energies against ourselves, okay? Especially the energies that manifest love, money, and good health. Love, money, and good health. I mean, there's many, but especially the energies of love, romance, sex, intimacy, relationships, and all that. We've been very strategically and deliberately manipulated into using those energies against ourselves. That's why currently, hopefully not for long, but currently, nobody can seem to get it right. Nobody can seem to get it right, you know? The relationship success rate is so staggeringly low because movies, music, TV, and media for decades, you know? And I'm not saying this is just something, this is nothing new. This is nothing new. Oh no. This spans back, and decades may even be a light term, okay? This spans back hundreds of years that this type of manipulating and brainwashing has been happening to the public, you know? Very, very simple, very easy. But we're getting up out of that. We are getting up out of that. I certainly would hope that in the next 20 years, it's not going to be, we're going to be more awake and aware than that, you know? I mean, it's super easy, dude. Extra super easy. All you have to do is make people believe that being lonely is totally normal, okay? That your number one priority in this life is to be in a romantic relationship, you know? And that if you're not in a romantic relationship, something is wrong with you, and you're supposed to be lonely, sad, and depressed. Bam. Easy. Simple. If I can get you to believe that, which most people do, you are going to live a lifetime of sadness, loneliness, and emptiness. And everybody that you encounter is going to do nothing but manifest more sadness, loneliness, and emptiness into your life. See what I'm saying? We're getting up out of that though, man. We're getting out of it. I always say, I'm not one of those types of people that does nothing but hammer down on the people who are asleep, you know? There's a bunch of them out there. But dude, you can't lie. A lot of people are waking up. A lot of people are waking up. Okay. Oh yeah. I know, like at the beginning of the video here, I was talking about all the people that are still asleep. But if you take the number of people that are awake now versus how many people were awake 3 or 4 years ago, oh, it's huge, dude. It's huge. It is huge. And when I say waking up, I'm talking about waking up spiritually. You know, your consciousness awakening. You're awakening to who you really are, how much power you really have. All the other awakenings, the political awakening and all these other things, that comes along with it. That's in the same package. And my phone's about to die. I'm gonna have to get off here in a couple of minutes. I need a new phone charger. This thing isn't charging my phone right. Hang on. Yeah. Damn it, Bobby. Okay. Anyway, anywho, I don't remember what point I was making. I'm scatterbrained this morning, man. I might have to have one more cup of coffee before I get on and start reading cards. Might have to have one more cup of coffee before I get on and start reading cards. But yeah, my phone is pretty low, so I am gonna have to be getting up out of here soon. I have to be getting up out of here. Probably gonna go, if the kids are still asleep, hopefully I can go downstairs and eat something. You know, if they're awake, they're gonna come down. Daddy, I want to eat something. I'm gonna try to have a little bit more alone time this morning before I get bombarded. So I'm gonna go ahead and get out of here. Appreciate y'all for tuning in. I'll see you sometime later on my main channel. All right, y'all enjoy the rest of your day.